So the January transfer window has nearly been concluded. We've got a lot to go over and a lot to catch up on that has gone down in the Championship over the past few weeks. We've got a lot of transfer rumours to discuss in today's video here today, and I'm excited to get your guys' verdict on how you think your club's done in the transfer window so far. So do let me know in the comments down below if you have seen any transfer rumours currently going around the Championship. As well as that, we also had some games going on last night in the Championship as well. We had Swansea City drawing 3-3 with Birmingham City in a really enthralling game of football. Ollie McBurney in that game scoring a late equaliser for Swansea. We also had a massive game near the bottom of the Championship between Bolton Wanderers and Reading. Both of them still sat in the relegation zone after playing out a 1-1 draw. A very dodgy penalty in that game as well. Be interested to get some fans' perspectives of what they made of the games last night. And so we'll start the video out by going over some transfers which have gone through in the Championship over the past week or so. We've seen Ashley Cole make his move to Derby County, obviously reuniting with Frank Lampard, his former Chelsea teammate. It'll be interesting to see how Ashley Cole does get on in the Championship this season. We also saw Mark Hugh complete a loan move to Hull City to bolster their midfield, coming in on loan for the rest of the season from Bournemouth. And Reading have been the club who have been very busy over the past week or so in the Championship. They completed the loan signing of, first of all, Nelson Oliveira coming over from Norwich for the rest of the season. I think that could be a really influential deal come the end of the season as to maybe the final push that Reading need to stay up in the Championship this season. If used correctly and if you've got the right attitude and application about him, Nelson Oliveira can be a top striker in this league. Emiliano Martinez has also come into Reading on loan from Arsenal as a goalkeeper, and they also completed the loan deal for Matt Miazia coming on loan from Chelsea for the rest of the season to bolster their defence. Johnny Obi Mikel's also made a move to the Championship. He has moved to Middlesbrough. I'm very interested to see how he can get on for the remainder of the season. I think that could be quite a good purchase. Preston completed the signing of right back Joe Rafferty coming over from Carlisle. This was a position where Preston needed to strengthen with Sol Callum Woods going out to Bradford, and with Darnell Fisher not really hitting the heights he was hitting last season, bringing in a player like Joe Rafferty I think will be wise for us going forward. Harry Chapman's moved from Middlesbrough going to Blackburn Rovers. He spent last season out on loan at Blackburn where he did quite well actually in League One, so I'm looking forward to seeing how he can fit in for the rest of the season. Danny Vokes has completed the deal moving to Wigan Athletic from Nottingham Forest. I think that this deal makes sense for both parties. Quite a big deal that went through the other day was Danny Bath moving from Wolves to Stoke City for a fee in around about £3 million, so not necessarily a cheap deal, but Danny Bath, a very good defender for Wolves back in the Championship. He played a key role in them getting promoted up to the Premier League. And with Stoke's defence being very inconsistent so far this season, maybe a player like Bath can come in and stabilise that. And Leeds United completed the signing of youngster Matthias Bogus coming over from Poland. So far this season, the 17-year-old has scored 5 goals in 19 appearances, and it's clear to see Leeds going down the route of, heavily investing in young, upcoming, promising players, and so if he can live up to the hype, I think he'll be a good player for Leeds in the future. But there were some of the completed deals which have gone through in the last week or so in the Championship, but without further ado, let's hop into some transfer rumours. And we'll start out with the transfer rumour which just won't seem to go away at the moment. That is Che Adams being linked with a move away from Birmingham City. The 22-year-old has impressed so far this season, scoring 15 goals and picking up 3 assists as well. The club said to be interested are Premier League, Burnley and Southampton. At this stage of the window, it will be a crushing blow for Birmingham for the rest of the season if they were to lose a player like Che Adams. I don't think that they're going to be very willing to negotiate with a lot of clubs this late on into the window, but if the money's right, then you never really know with a transfer rumour like this. Birmingham no doubt will demand a lot of money for him. He's only 22 years old, a very upcoming promising player in the Championship. I'm not sure if I can see this one happening at the moment, but like I said, if the money's right from the Premier League clubs, you never really know. It's been reported that Aston Villa inquired about the availability of Ben Gibson possibly coming on loan for the rest of the season. That's not really looking like it's going to be happening. Sean Dyche has sort of dismissed these rumours and said that he's not going to be going anywhere. He's not played much football so far this season, but that's mostly been down to injury. And a player who could be leaving Aston Villa is Scott Hogan, who is looking very likely to be joining Sheffield United on loan for the rest of the season. I think that this makes sense for both parties really. Aston Villa, he's not really had the best time there since signing from Brentford. He's not really fit into the system they play, and he's probably third in the pecking order for strikers at the moment. I also think he'll be quite a useful option for Sheffield United. Gives them a bit of a different dynamic going forward, a bit of pace and explosivity to stretch the defences in behind. Nathaniel Chalobah from Watford has been linked to a few Championship clubs at the moment, with both West Brom and Aston Villa said to be interested in the Watford midfielder. He's not played much football this season, only starting 2 games in the Premier League so far, but the reports coming out of Watford have been suggesting that this one probably won't be on the cards as they aren't willing to let him go out on loan. And Newcastle midfielder Isaac Hayden is another player currently being linked to Aston Villa. We spoke about this one a little bit in the last video as well. I think he'll be a decent option for a Championship club, bringing in as a decent DM for the Championship. I think he'd do a good job. And it's looking very likely that Wilfred Burney will be making his move away from Swansea City, probably on a loan deal for the rest of this season. I think he's looking to move to Qatar at this point in time. This one won't come as a massive surprise to a lot of Swansea fans really. I think this one was always going to be on the cards. And his second spell at Swansea hasn't necessarily gone to plan. His first spell at Swansea, signing for them in 2013, he was absolutely prolific in the Premier League. Since coming back though, he's not really been the same player. He's not fit into this Championship side so far this season. I think a move away from the club, considering how much he's actually on a week, would make sense. And it's currently being reported that Nottingham Forest have had a loan fee agreed for for Tyrone Mings at Bournemouth. He can be quite a dynamic left back, and with his game time being quite limited at Bournemouth this season, I think a loan move to the Championship would make sense, and he'd be a very good option for Forest. Kevin McDonald from Fulham has also been linked with a move to Nottingham Forest. This one would make sense in my opinion, as he's got a bundle of experience in the Championship and played a key role in Fulham's promotion season. And if that deal doesn't go through, Nottingham Forest are also being linked with Pele at the moment. Now imagine getting a Nottingham Forest shirt with Pele on the back. That would be something. But Pele, the defensive midfielder from Monaco, is currently being linked to the Championship club. So far this season, he's not played all too much football for Monaco, only making 4 starts for them so far. They're obviously having a torrid time in the French league at the moment, but making the move over to the Championship could be a good deal for them. And Tyler Blackett from Reading is also being linked with the move to Nottingham Forest at the moment. Forest really have been linked with a lot of players at this point in time. Tyler Blackett, a player who I can never really figure out. I think this season he's looked alright in moments for Reading actually. Last season I wasn't a big fan of him, I thought he was quite inconsistent. But when he is playing in the settled back line, I actually think he can be a decent defender in the Championship. And Leeds United are still trying to find a deal for winger Daniel James from Swansea City. So far a deal hasn't been made between these two clubs, but he does remain Leeds United's #1 target. The 21-year-old has impressed in the Championship so far this season, and with Leeds going down this model, investing in a lot of young players, a move like this would make sense, but rightly so really. Swansea don't want to sell some of their key assets. Going forward into the future, what is shown this season especially, Daniel James has got an absolute abundance of potential, so it's no surprise to see Leeds being so heavily linked with him. And a huge transfer rumour at the moment is Ivan Cavallero being linked with a move to Leeds United from Wolves. The winger last season in the Championship was absolutely fabulous, a key part of that Wolves system which got promoted. He scored 9 goals and picked up 12 assists as well, and has an abundance of dynamism out on that right wing, and would be an absolutely incredible option for Leeds United. So far this season in the Premier League, he scored 3 goals and picked up 1 assist, but has only started 5 games for Wolves. If Leeds are looking to pick him up on a permanent basis, it is going to take a pretty hefty transfer fee in my opinion, at least sort of 10 to 15 million pounds for Wolves to be looking to sell. But if Leeds do pull this one off, that will be an incredible bit of business. And another player being linked to Leeds at the moment is Stefan Johansson from Fulham. Now last season in the Championship he was absolutely brilliant, playing either as a deep line playmaker or as that number 10. He scored 8 goals and picked up 9 assists. The season before that he scored 11 goals and picked up 8 assists, so it's clear to see he's very influential in the Championship, and in the Bielsa system he'd be a very useful player. And Sunderland are still remaining very interested in Wigan Athletic striker Will Grigg. There are a couple options who they are being linked to at the moment as possibly a Grigg replacement, and one of them being talked about at the moment is Leon Clark, who could be coming in to Wigan Athletic on loan for the rest of this season from Sheffield United. It's a bit of an odd one this. If it's a like-for-like replacement, they're very different strikers, Leon Clark and Will Grigg. He had a loan spell with Wigan Athletic back in 2015. I'm pretty sure, I don't know of many Championship clubs who haven't had Leon Clark on loan at some point, but he was on loan at Wigan back then, made 10 appearances for them, scored 1 goal. And the Leicester midfielder Andy King has also been linked with a move to the Championship at the moment, with Nottingham Forest, Swansea City, Wigan Athletic and West Brom all said to be interested. And Assombalonga could be moving away from Middlesbrough in this transfer window, with Bristol City said to be interested in the striker. Since joining Middlesbrough, Assombalonga's had a really weird career there, because some games he's looked absolutely untouchable, looked like a prolific goalscorer in the Championship. In other games, he's looked like a bit of a flop, where he's missed a few one-on-ones as his confidence really seems to be at an all-time low. If you can get a player like Assombalonga playing with confidence, he can be an absolutely prolific striker in the Championship. For me, he's still probably the best striker Middlesbrough have got. If they did pull this one off, it would be a good sign for them in my opinion. And Stoke City are being heavily linked with the move for Burnley striker Sam Vokes. So far this season, the striker scored 3 goals in the Premier League. His best season in the Championship came back in 2014, where he scored 20 goals for Burnley. The deal currently being talked about is a cash plus Peter Crouch deal, with Peter Crouch moving back to the Premier League with Burnley. So Stoke fans, let me know down below what you've made of this one. Hull City is said to be interested in Liverpool winger Ben Woodburn. He spent the first half of this season out on loan at Sheffield United, didn't really get to break into their first team. I think he'd fit into Hull's system. And another swap deal which could be going down in the Championship is possibly James McLean being swapped for Ben Osborne at Nottingham Forest. Let me know down below, Forest and Stoke fans, who do you think will be getting the better deal out of this one if it was to come off? And it's no surprise to see West Brom being linked with a few wingers at the moment, with them not really replacing Harvey Barnes so far. Jefferson Montero is someone who is said to be on their radar for a loan deal for the rest of this season. Will make sense. He's not really played all too much football for Swansea so far, but is an incredibly talented player whenever he's not injured. He's certainly changed a couple of games for Swansea coming off the bench so far this season, and if he was able to stay fit, he'd be a very good impact signing for West Brom. Abubakar Kamara is another player being linked to West Brom at the moment. I believe there's been a bit of a falling out between Kamara and Mitrovic at Fulham. Things don't really seem to be right there, but making the move back to the Championship would be a good option for West Brom. And Jacob Murphy is another player being linked to the Championship, with West Brom and Middlesbrough both said to be interested in the Newcastle United winger. He's 23 years old and has looked good in moments for Newcastle United, but hasn't fully adjusted to the Premier League so far. His best season came in his final years at Norwich, where he scored 10 goals that season in all competitions, and he'd come into either of those two sides and add a bit more flair and pace going forward. And Millwall are said to be interested in Middlesbrough striker Rudy Gestede. To me, I thought that Rudy Gestede would be sort of an an ideal Tony Pulis striker, but things under Pulis haven't really gone Gusted's way. He's not really had the best season for them so far, so loaning him out would make sense. At the age he is, he's currently 30 years old. He could do with a new lease of life in the Championship, and maybe a move to Millwall could do that for him. But guys, there you have it. There are some of the transfer rumours which are currently going around the Championship. So if you've seen any others that we didn't mention in today's video, make sure to let me know about them in the comments down below. But apart from that, guys, that will now wrap it up for this video. So if you're going to enjoy, make sure you do leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you subscribe for some regular Championship content. But apart from that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.